anybody that's out there who's placing yet another disappointing season-ending loss to the Kansas City Chiefs on the lap of Josh Allen is way off. I understand it's a results-oriented business. I get it. And in this results-oriented business, there is no position in professional sports more in the spotlight than being a quarterback. And thus, of any athlete in professional sports, what's more of a results-oriented position than quarterback? I guess star outfielder in baseball.
For the Mets.
Everyone talks about Aaron Judge. No, the Mets haven't been in the World Series in recent days. But Aaron Judge is a perfect example, like a results-oriented business. Great. I'm glad you had 60-something home runs again, or threatened it. But Josh Allen, 0-4 against the Chiefs in the postseason. He's yet to win a game on the road in the postseason because 3 times he's faced the Chiefs in Arrowhead. And the first time he made it to the playoffs, he lost in Houston in another heart-wrenching postseason exit for the Bills. And I cannot sit here and say he's never going to do it. You cannot sit here and say he's never going to do it. And as a matter of fact, what he did this year was maybe his most valuable performance ever with, and I know he doesn't want to hear it because he talks about how terrific this group is as a unit. And I have said from this chair that the team that Allen had this year may be the best team he's ever been on, some of its parts team. But man, did the playoffs have a way of spotlighting weaknesses in the moment. And you're left wondering 2 things. Does he need more playmakers on offense after all? When push comes to shove in Kansas City, when you've got to play a perfect game. And the one playmaker he does have that is superior to the rest didn't touch the ball after the 9-minute mark of the fourth quarter and only 16 times on the day. And James Cook wasn't on the field when the Bills got the ball with 3:33 to go, down 3 and all 3 timeouts left. I think basically if you put in front of the Bills on the bus, choose a representative of the Bills. Is it the owner, Terry Pagula? Is it the coach? Is it the quarterback? Take a contract, put down on a piece of paper saying you have the ball, you're down 3, it's 3:33 to go in Arrowhead, and you got all your timeouts left. Would you sign that piece of paper if you're a member of the Buffalo Bills in charge of representing the Buffalo Bills? Would you sign that piece of paper? The answer is hell yeah. 100 times out of 100. And they had it. And, man, speaking on behalf of James Cook fantasy owners this year, I had him in 2 leagues. The number of times that you would expect to see him out there, and instead it's Ty Johnson or Ray Davis, I lost track. And those guys are good, but they're not James Cook. And I thought we were saving James Cook for the playoffs every single time that you would see someone else out there on the field. And, James Cook isn't in the pass package. That's Ty Johnson.
Yeah, so put him in it.
Well, push comes to shove, your opening play on the opening drive, on this drive that you have to have it, Johnson loses it, loses a yard. Chiefs snuff it out. You know what happens next? Josh Allen gets a 13-yard gain, wipes that out. And that set in motion the final 4 snaps of their season, in which he and Shakir weren't on the same page. He and Curtis Samuel don't connect. It's now 3rd and 10. They get half of it with Amari Cooper, and then we all know what happened after that. the Chiefs won the snap. Spagnuolo won the snap. He won the moment. He blitzes Allen, who makes an incredible play, and the ball hits Dalton Kincaid in his arms. It's a tough grab. I understand. But you can't place it on the lap of this guy, Josh Allen. I'm just not going to do it. And, he still has a long way to go. And he's also just a perfect guy you want to have out front. Because everything I just said, from not enough James Cook touches, what the hell was that in the final drive of the game? Who is going to beat man coverage defensively? What happens if, say, one of your best corners goes out with a concussion right off the bat?
That was a huge.
What happens when your all-world quarterback carries it multiple times and it's clear that the Chiefs are kind of onto the game on short yardage carries? What happens then? Is it Josh Allen's fault? He could even allude to all that stuff that I just threw out there. Quite the opposite. This is what he had to say in his end-of-season press conference yesterday.
Every year, right, I feel like I've said this every year, it's 31 unhappy teams. But I will say this about our team, emphasis on team. I think this is one of the more special units I've ever been around in my entire life, from Pop Warner through high school, through college, in the NFL. Guys truly cared about each other. Everyone kind of understood their role and their assignment, and we had a huge internal belief when we all got here for camp, and we worked extremely hard to get to where we got. And we're constantly knocking at the door, and when you're playing a team like the Chiefs, who have done it so well for so long, you gotta not just knock, you gotta kick the door down, and we didn't do that.
Chiefs are still in the mode of got to play a perfect game in Arrowhead to beat them. We'll see if the Eagles have to play that perfect game in the Superdome to beat them, but that's for another day. And the Bills didn't do it. And Allen wasn't perfect either. I mean, he fumbled it 3 times, didn't lose one, and he almost threw 2 interceptions on the first drive.
Yeah, he was pretty jacked up.
I'm not sitting here and saying that. I just can't sit here and say this is, he'll never do it. He can't do it. He clearly has the skill set to win it all. He clearly does. And this franchise does have the front office that could potentially get the people there seeing what their roster looks like right now. When we were discussing quarterbacks under the most pressure, right, going into the playoffs, I didn't peg this guy.
No.
I know you did, Chris, and I know you did also, and I shouldn't just single you out. A lot of people did. Pegged him and Lamar. Like, these guys, if they don't do it, their legacy is just being, tombstones as Mahomes whistles past them. Okay?
That's why I said the Friday before they played, one of these guys is going to lose this game, and the whole Monday, all we're going to talk about is they're not good enough.
Well, I guess Mark Andrews bailed Lamar out in that regard, right? Because everyone was pointing the finger of blame at him in the same way some are pointing it at Kincaid. And I'm just saying, to sit here and say Allen doesn't have more than half his career in front of him is absurd. And that's why that's why I don't put him and Lamar under the pressure of the category of under the most pressure, because they still have a ton of roadway left. And, they have the unfortunate circumstance of having to play in the same conference as Mahomes. And I'm just saying, at some point, Mahomes will not be part of a Chiefs team against whom you must play a perfect game in order to win. Or if he still does, one of these days, Allen or Jackson or Burrow, as he was on one day in Arrowhead, did play the perfect game and did get rid of him. And I can't sit here and say Allen doesn't have the skill set, and the reason why it didn't happen this time is because of him. and I'm seeing all the finger of blame pointed in his direction. It's crazy. The number of franchises that would swap spots with him right now. And it's a matter of, for him right now, with their current quarterback. You'd fill up the rest of the show having that conversation. Chris, put it out there on at Rich Eisen Show, will you please?
What do we got?
Which quarterback from Championship Sunday would you take to win the Super Bowl first? Allen or Jaden Daniels? Put it out there. I know a lot of people would throw Jaden Daniels in there because he doesn't have Mahomes to deal with. Who's going to win it? Not just make it, win it.
Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels.
That's it. Because I know if I just said make it, Jaden Daniels would run away with it because he doesn't have to deal with Mahomes to make the Super Bowl. Win it.
I will put that out.
Who would you take, Allen or Jaden Daniels?
You know, it's so funny.
From Championship Sunday.
These two quarterbacks also kind of play in the game we talk about all the time. Would you rather have, knowing that you're going to lose like Daniels did, or you lose like Allen did?
You know how I feel about it.
I know. I just thought it was funny that that played out that way.
I'm always having better to have loved and lost than never loved at all. So 844-204-RICH is the number to dial. We'll dive deeper into this conversation about Jaden Daniels and Allen from Championship Sunday. Who would you rather have to win their first Super Bowl? But I just don't want to hear any more of the Allen slander. Just, it's absurd. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.